Okay, welcome to Winter 14. We are going to be talking about service communities, knowledge, and talking about quickly about a pilot called Social Customer Service. My name is Sam Acuff, and I work for our Customers for Life organization here at Salesforce, and we're part of the post-sales success team to make sure that our customers are successful on our platform. I also want to introduce Jennifer Sachs, who's our co-lead for this webinar. Jennifer, can you say hello?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Sachs. I'm also part of the Customers for Life team and the program manager for our Release Readiness series. So definitely interested in any feedback you have on how the program's going, what else you would like to see. We want to make sure that we're getting you engaged with and excited about every product release that we do.
All right. We have some great information coming from our product managers. I want to make sure that I take care of some of these quick little logistics very, very quickly at the beginning. We just welcomed you. We're going to talk a little bit about the success community. I'll go over some release milestones, and then we'll launch right into service communities and knowledge with our product managers. So we're going to move over to our success community. This is really important. And Jennifer, I think you're posting right now in the chat widget, not the question widget, but the chat widget in the GoToWebinar panel, the links to be able to join our collaboration group. So if you log into your organization, click on Help and Training, and then click on those links that Jennifer just put in the chat widget, that's how you can join these communities. So we want you to join either the Success Release Readiness Premier or the Success Release Readiness, depending upon whether you're on a Premier Success Plan or on a Standard Success Plan. We have the right community for you, guiding you to the right resources. These communities are the primary channels for our release product marketing teams and our Customers for Life team and our product managers to talk to you about the new releases. So these are communities that are going to be operating year-round for you to make sure that you're always informed and always able to have a successful adoption of our features as you go from release to release. So again, the links are right in the chat widget, and all you need to do is click on it and either join the standard community or ask to join the Premier community. Now, also, I want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded. We will be providing the recording, the webinar deck, and also FAQs from this session and this morning's sessions where you all have asked great questions. We're creating an FAQ document to share with you. We're going to share all of those resources with you in these communities. Doesn't matter which one you're in, but I want to make sure that you know that you'll have access to these after the fact, and you can share the materials with your peers inside of your organization. So the point is that this webinar has an endpoint, but the conversation continues in the community. I want to share with you our safe harbor statement. I'm sure you've seen this before. What's very important is that any purchasing decisions that you make should be based upon current Salesforce functionality. You might hear about some forward-looking items as our product managers are presenting to you. You'll hear about a pilot from me. Please make sure your purchasing decisions are based upon what the current technology is that's available with the Salesforce platform. So I want to talk about some milestones. The release is right around the corner for your instance. So next weekend, we'll be releasing to NA 6, 7, 8, 9, and 13. If you don't know what your instance is, just give us a question in the question widget in the GoToWebinar, and we'll help you understand how to find that instance. Our other instances and the sandbox instances that weren't upgraded will be upgraded the following weekend, the 11th and the 12th of October. So it's literally right around the corner. I do have some exciting news. We had targeted to have our release training available on Friday the 4th, next weekend. However, I'm delighted to inform you that our training team knocked it out of the ballpark, and that release training that you can utilize to certify for the administrative certification and also just to train on the release itself, that release training is available to all customers, Standard and Premier, today. It got released last night. So the links to the training are in those collaboration groups. I'll make sure I post it again so you see the chatter post. That training is live and ready to go for you so that you can not only attend this webinar but take that training on all of the features that are coming out in the new release. So we're very excited that that was available early. Very quickly, release types, you'll hear about them. GA is generally available. Beta is a minimum customer feature set that is made available to customers on an early opt-in basis. Pilots are new features or functionality that's available by invitation only to a limited set of customers, and the purpose of that is to gather feedback from our customers. And then also there's developer preview, and this is features that are provided to our developer edition orgs, again, to get feedback so that we can understand, our product management team can understand more about how customers think about these new features. So that's what I had to say. I am now going to turn it over to Lauren, who's going to introduce herself. And so, Lauren, I'm passing the baton on to you now, and you should have it.
All right, great. Let me know when you're seeing my screen, please, and if you're seeing the whole thing.
I see it now.
All right, brilliant. Well, hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is for you. It's about 4 o'clock here in San Francisco, so it's great to talk with all of you. My name is Lauren Ingram. I'm one of the product managers on the Service Cloud team, and I manage service communities. And that's Chatter Answers and Ideas. And I'm really excited to be able to talk with you today because we've got some really, really great features coming out in Winter 14. This is the list of features here. There are some others that aren't listed, and as you can see, just as a product line, we're really coming out with a huge number of features across the board. So it's really exciting to be able to share some of these with you today. As we go forward, if you have questions, please ask them, and if they don't get answered today as we go through and answer questions during and after the presentation, please do post questions on our success community. You can also @mention me once you log in. You can go to that collaboration tab and @mention me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. All right, so in this demo today, I'm going to do a quick overview of Chatter Answers and talk a little bit about some of the great new licensing that's come out. Then we'll talk about some of the components. We'll talk about rich text and all of these other features and enhancements that you're seeing here. After we walk through the demo, I'll talk a little bit about some of the features that we haven't demoed as well. There are some great features that would just take a lot of time to demo, so I'll talk to some of those as well. So without further ado, this is Chatter Answers, and I'm not sure if you've seen it before or not, but this is our Q&A product. It does work now on the Communities platform and is available to you if you have Communities licenses. This is a huge deal. As of last release, I believe, Q&A is now available if you have Communities licenses, and it's also available to you if you have Chatter Plus or any internal license, so Chatter Plus and above. What that means is you can go ahead and enable this for your users who have those licenses, turn it on at no additional charge, and away you go. So please turn it on, give it a shot. Again, shoot me any questions that you might have. Just to kind of quickly talk about Chatter Answers, about Q&A, about what it does, what it is. Chatter Answers is our Q&A product, and it allows you to bring together questions from your customers, knowledge management, so knowledge articles, which you can see here in the feed, and then cases as well. So you can have people ask questions, allow your customers to serve as their own Tier 1 support, asking questions, answering questions, marking questions as something with the best answer. And you can also make sure that you can escalate questions to cases and answer them privately where necessary. So if somebody asks how to reset their password, maybe the community can answer. Somebody says, you know what, I have this huge issue and there's something going on with my TV, can you help me out? Maybe you take that, turn it into a case, and answer it using your service organization. So you get a little bit more visibility into what's going on in the community. It's really great. All right, so without further ado, let's walk through some of the new features in the Winter 14 release. And we'll just kind of start from the top here. So As you can see, if you're familiar with Chatter Answers, previously we had a couple of different filters. We had the filters here in the middle, and then we had the all questions versus my questions here on the left-hand side. We've consolidated all of those filters, and now you can filter and sort. We've added a number of new filters. So unanswered questions is a great way to allow the people who are most excited about answering questions first and answering questions nobody else has answered to get to those questions quickly. So we've added these unanswered questions. We've also added unsolved questions, so questions that do have an answer but don't have a best answer added yet. And we've also allowed you to sort by recent activity. So sometimes you want to see things that are the most popular or that were created most recently. Sometimes you want to see things that have been commented on most recently. So these have all been added, and I'll show you in a little bit how you can select the ones that you want to see or not see. We've also made a bunch of changes to the feed here. So as you might be able to see, these titles are now in black, which is very exciting. But we've also allowed you to see the details of the question and also the details of the articles right here in the feed. We can also expand and contract the information inside of those questions. So if there's a lot of information, you want to see all of it directly in the feed without having to drill in, you can do that. You want to see less? Great. Just make it go away again. Another huge request that we had, and this will tell you again that we really are listening to the answers community, but people really, really wanted rich text on replies. So we've added rich text on replies. So you can now attach images if you want to, links, you can add bold and rich text. Whatever you want to show, you can do here. So again, rich text on replies. Another thing which I'm not going to demo because it would take a little while, but we have added email reply as well, and I'll show you kind of the way that that looks and works in a little bit. Okay, so some really great features kind of in the feed and a few things added. I'm now going to show you the way that the componentized UI works, so the way that you can kind of put the things that you want on this page in the places you want, make them the size you want. So to make this sort of an effective demo, if you will, we need to kind of take a look and notice where everything is on the page. So you can see here that we've got our search ask bar here up at the top, and we have our all questions sorted by date posted here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the way that I would switch those up using the components. And so if we go back into the setup layer here, this is the page that's supporting the Chatter Answers page that we're looking at. And as you can see, we now have a large number of Chatter Answers components. Previously we had one, the All Feeds component. Now we have a large number of them. These are all available in the help and training docs. You can take a look and get all of the details. So you can see here there's the About Me and the category filter, which we had on the left-hand side of the page. Here's the search ask. That's your search bar. And here's your feed filter. So my questions, all questions, you name it. So just for the sake of this demo, I'm going to just flip those around. And I'm also going to define which things I would like to see. So maybe I have a simpler community. Maybe it's a community that has very specific needs. I only want to see a few of these filters. So I'm going to say, just show me this set of options. It's worth noting here that right now these components actually conform to the size of the container that they're in as well. So if you wanted to show these on a big wide screen and have it stretch all the way out, maybe you wanted to show these on a mobile device and have them being really narrow, you can do that as well. So we've switched those out, and if we want to go ahead and just refresh the page, what we can see is now they've flipped on the page, and also we have a limited set of options here. So again, we can just kind of define exactly what we want to see, where we want to see it. And while I'm looking at the search ask here, there is a new inline publisher, which you can enable by going to Chatter Answers settings. And this publisher gives you a little bit more information about the person who's posted and about how popular it is. So here I'm looking for netbooks, and I can see who posted this question, the number of answers, likes, and how many people found the article that's a result helpful. So lots of cool stuff in the Chatter Answers feed and filter here. A couple of other things that we've done here, we've added some new features to ideas as well. So you may know we have an ideation product, and here you can see it again in the community. One little thing we added here, again, as a result of requests on the idea exchange in our answers community, we added likes on idea comments. So if you want, you can like this. You can see how many people have liked it. Another major request, especially for those of you doing community customizations, you can now set the user's profile. So you can set the place that you wind up when you click on the ideas profile. Do I want to wind up here on the chatter answers or on the chatter profile? Do I want to wind up on a custom page? So, you know, if you have a big external community, you may want to create a custom page and direct people to that page instead. We've also added a person's community activity, so their ideas and their Q&A activity, to the chatter answers, to the chatter profile. So you can see here that we're taking a look at the questions that I've added, the questions that might have been marked as a best answer, and also the ideas I've created and voted on. So again, kind of tying everything back in here to the chatter profile and just kind of giving you a little bit more visibility about what this person has been doing. Just to show you what this might look like in real life, this is our success community. Please go here, check it out, join, it's good stuff. And you can see here that this is an implementation of chatter answers. This is the way this all kind of looks and works for us. And you can see here that we're really enjoying just sort of the number of people that are commenting, the questions they're asking. Just the community here is really exciting, and the fact that people are really marking things as best answers. If you want it to look and feel a little different, you might want to do something more like Compass Learning. So they've actually gone ahead and done a pretty good amount of customization here. But again, they've changed the look and the feel. They've changed, you know, kind of the way that they're showing best answers. They've changed the branding and the style. So if you want, you can go with kind of the vanilla out-of-the-box experience, or you can go with something very customized. So again, please go ahead, check it out. Let us know what you think. All right, so a few other things I had wanted to cover here that we haven't demoed. Before Dreamforce, we will have a new support mobile app package coming out. This offers a kind of a streamlined user experience and allows you to get both kind of the chatter answer features and the mobile package features for the knowledge base in one place. So this will allow you to do declarative setup, branding. I've seen it. It looks really, really good, and you're just going to be able to get a hold of all of the information that you need in a mobile package. So you'll be able to get more information about that. And if you want more information, please let me know, and we'll get some more to you. I promised you that I would show you chatter answers, the replying to questions with email. So this is the way this looks. To enable this, you go into your chatter answer settings. You select Allow Posting Answers via email. And when you receive this information from your chatter answers community, you'll be able to respond quickly saying, you know, thanks very much, that's great help, or, you know, can you clarify, I don't really understand your answer, and your answer will actually show up here inside of the question. And there's more information about this in our help docs as well. Finally, if you want to get really adventurous, I recommend you check out our new JavaScript API features. They are in pilot. You may be familiar with the user hover, which allows you to replace everything inside of this little orange box with whatever you want to show. And so we've added a few more items here. Can you tell when the feed is can I tell when the feed is, you know, completed loading? Can I tell when I've selected something from the search ask component? Can I tell when I've clicked on settings, so I can bring in sort of different settings if I want to? This feed item selected is especially interesting because you can also search things like your SharePoint archive or other kinds of information or objects inside of Salesforce, but using this JavaScript API. All right. A few of the things we had wanted to talk about very quickly, just in terms of where are we going and what are we thinking about for the future. So everything I've shown you to date exists, it's live, and it's out there in the marketplace as of the winter release. You can check it out. A few things that we're thinking about as we move forward are things like, you know, how do we make customization really declarative and responsive? And we have some great features coming out around that over the next few releases. We're thinking a lot about reputation. So, you know, how do we, you know, really strengthen up our game engine, and how do we bring in things like work.com and badging? We're thinking a lot about moderation right now and about a moderation console. And we're also thinking quite a bit about how does this all interact with chatter, and how do we really bring in the features of chatter that are really useful for a large a large-scale community. That's all future, so it does fall under safe harbor, but those are the kinds of things that we're thinking about as we move into the next few releases. That's all I have, so I'm happy to take questions or wait until the end.
Jennifer, I believe we have some great questions out in the GoToWebinar widget. So can you read off some of those questions for us?
Sure, absolutely. And the first one is sort of a more general one, Lauren, but I figured you might be able to offer good perspective just based on what you were saying about how you're thinking about the product going forward. One customer was asking, how is it that you guys prioritize and make decisions for a specific product? Is that the idea exchange, or where can customers go to really help influence what it is that you decide to focus on?
That's a great question. There are a few ways that we determine what goes into a future release, and so there's kind of a big complicated answer. I'll try to give you the simple version. The simple version is, of course, we have a big company direction as a company, and we have competitive things that we need to work on. And we also take a huge amount of input from the idea exchange. Believe it or not, we actually look at the total number of points that do come in from the idea exchange. We look at how many points that we're doing, per cloud, per, for each release, and so on and so forth. So we really, really do look at that when we actually measure based on the idea exchange. I would strongly recommend, if you want something in the product, if you feel that something is really important, you can't do something that you want to be able to do, please post it up. Please shop it around to your friends and your colleagues and have them vote as well. We really do look at that. We look at the comments. And you can also @mention me. So if there's an idea that seems to be languishing that you haven't seen any response on, go to the collaboration tab, please, and go ahead and @mention me, and I will respond to you. That would be, let's see, that's here. So you can go into the collaboration tab.
All right, great. Those are great suggestions, and I'd just like to highlight how important it is that we get customer feedback and involvement as we make product decisions. So the next question is from Jonathan. Is there any integration with questions and cases, i.e., if a customer asks a question, can you make that a case?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So we actually have out-of-the-box functionality allowing you to create cases from questions, and we also allow you to do automatic case escalation for questions. So what this means is, as an admin, you can set up your community in a number of different ways depending on the size of the users that are talking to you, and depending on kind of the speed with which you want to respond to them. So you can, for example, choose to have every single question instantly become a case, have an SLA on that case requiring your agents to respond within a certain amount of time, and make sure that every question gets an immediate response from the agents. That said, I wouldn't recommend that as a best practice. The best practice for that is, to start with sort of a medium or even a short amount of time, but over time, what you really are looking for your community to do is you're really looking for them to be able to help each other and answer each other's questions very quickly to make sure that the community is really sharing the right information with each other. So you want to give people a little bit of time to answer questions, and as time goes on, your community grows, people are more and more active, you actually want to back off as much as possible and reserve those escalated cases for times when it's really a customer issue rather than a customer question. Just to highlight as well, you can also do private conversations with chatter answers. So when you respond, you can choose either as an agent to respond with a public response, which allows the entire community to see your response, or you can respond privately and say, hey, that sounds like an issue, let me help you out. So all of that is available out of the box.
Okay, great. Going along with that sort of idea of private conversations, Trina's asking, if a user doesn't want to be visible to other community users, for example, they only want to talk to tech support or a moderator, is that configurable? Can you sort of limit who you're exposed to?
The latter is possible today. So you can, when you go and create chatter answers, again, if the admin of the community has set it up this way, you can immediately create a case or a private question directly from your post. You don't have to go through kind of posting a public question and waiting and getting a response at a later time. You can have an immediate conversation with support. And again, a lot of this depends on the way that you want your community to interact with you, so you can enable that or not, and it truly it will evolve over time.
Okay. And then Brooke asks, is there a way to add a champion badge or recognize a champion for people in the customer community?
So today we are recognizing customers with badges, which this can be set both the name and the number of questions, solved questions, et cetera, it takes to become a newbie versus an expert versus a super user. So you can set that up. You could also build something custom using Visual Force and Apex. This is really something that we're looking for in the future and something we would love some feedback on. But it is certainly something that's on our radar and our roadmap moving forward.
Okay, great. Well, Sam, I don't know if you have any other questions that you're seeing. Otherwise, I think we can move on to the next topic.
I think we'll move on, and if we have some time at the end, we'll pick up some more questions. So I'm going to pass the baton on now to Francois, and you should have control.
Thank you very much. So my name is Francois Lupito. I'm working with Laurent, so I'm a product manager in the Service Cloud team, and I'm focusing on Salesforce knowledge. So we have a lot of great new features coming up in Winter 14. And before to dig inside these new features, we have a really big news for our customers is the fact that we are changing the knowledge licensing. So we hear a lot of feedbacks from our customers, and from Ideas Exchange actually, where we had a lot of input from that and basics that the people was not really understanding the fact that they had to pay to be able to search and view an article. So we listened to you, and so with the winter release, basically, if you want to access knowledge, so then be able to search, be able to view, be able to attach an article to a case, so this will be included in a Service Cloud and Sales Cloud license. So you don't need any more knowledge add-on for that. Now, of course, to be able to contribute, like create, update, publish, archive, so really manage the content, you will need still to have a knowledge add-on. So if we look a little bit more about your organization and what does that mean for your organization, so from the best practice point of view and from what we saw from other customers, usually like tier 2 and tier 3 agents need to be able to create or update articles because based on the case that they are solving, at some point they want to capitalize on this and to be able to create articles from what they learn when they solve a case. And so usually this type of people need to have a license to be able to create and improve the knowledge base. Knowledge manager, of course, need a license. Or also anybody internally to the organizations who need to create an article is going to require the license. So like, for example, maybe marketing or maybe documentation departments, and you want to create also some knowledge articles, you need a license. Who do not need a license? So basically every agent who don't need to create article or update do not need a license, or every casual user like a salesperson that may want to look at a specific case and may want to look at some article linked to a case, so do not require the knowledge license. So it's really, we are really opening the applications for much more user without any cost. So now if we go back a little bit to the feature, so instead of showing you some slide, I'm going to show you the demo. So first I'm going to show you Knowledge One, which is a new page that we have created, which is GA. After that I'm going to show you the Smart Link plugin. So it's an easy way to create link between articles. Very simple, very easy. After I'm going to speak about the different field types that we extend in articles. So basically now we are supporting much more field on the object itself, article object, that we was not supporting before, like lookup field, formula field, dependent pick list, and so on. And finally, I'm going to speak about a pilot feature that we are working on and you can leverage in Winter, which is about the fact that we activate topics on article. So let me switch to demo. Here we are. So this screen now that you can see is Salesforce in the console, and this tab is a new knowledge tab that we deliver in Winter that we call Knowledge 1. And so for those who know knowledge, before we had two different tabs. We had the article tab where people was able to go there to search an article, view an article, and we also had article management tab where it was more about creation, management of the knowledge base. And so people was kind of moving between the two of them. Also the two-page as kind of old design, and also the feature on the two-page was not really the same, so it was creating some confusion. So that's why we create this new knowledge tab, which have multiple purposes. The first one is a new design. We optimize the performance. It's a very quick, very clean page, as you can see here. The second feature that we bring here is the fact that you cannot just create search article and view article from this page, but you can also do a lot of things that was before an article management page. So be able to edit an article, be able to publish an article, be able to see my drafts, and so on. And the third purpose of this page is also we are bringing external informations for outside of Salesforce inside the knowledge tab. And really the value here is for your customers or your internal agent to be able to show any information that makes sense and that can help them to solve the case, whatever if they are inside Salesforce or if they are outside of Salesforce. So here on the left side, you can see that you can select on what object you want to run the search, where you have all article, and here it's an example of external sources. If I click on articles, I will be able in one click to be able to access to my draft. So it's really interesting because before it was multiple step process. You was not really know how many articles you had in your draft and so on. Here it's really easy and you can very quickly go to your draft article. On the list, you can also perform some action directly from there. So publish an article, edit, follow, delete. So it's really also easy to use and simple. So you have also the filter on the top where you redesign the article type filter where you can easily unselect everything or select everything. You still have the data category filtering capabilities, also the language and the validation status. And you can see here you can create an article, and also when you edit, of course, all these kind of actions are activated based on your profiles and your permissions. So for those who don't have the right to create, will not display the button, or for those who don't have the right to edit, will not display the action in the list. So now, as an example, let me go to a case. So this is a case where Katie Miller is trying to upgrade the memory of the laptop. So this is the case feed, as you can see here, where you can have a list of all the operations that appear before on the case. So you get a really history of your case. And you can see here the article widget, which is a standard widget that exists already in Summer. And so I'm searching for an information to be able to solve this case. I don't find it here in the list, so I'm going to click on the advanced search. And when I click on the advanced search, we are going to call the Knowledge 1 page. We are going to call the Knowledge 1 page. We are going to preset the case information to have a first list of results. And what you can see here is you have a list of articles that may solve your issue, but also you have results coming directly from Bing. So this is a connector that I create using the new connector API that we are piloting in Winter 14. So basically with this pilot program in Winter 14, you can create your own connector to your own system. So as soon as you have a system that have a search engine, you can create a connector from Salesforce to be able to dynamically query your external search engine, get the result from the search engine, and display directly inside Salesforce UI this result. And it's what I did with Bing. I create this connector inside Salesforce to query Bing, sending the keyword search, and Bing sends me the result, and I can here, and if I click, I'm going to directly the link sent by Billy. So it's an example of connectors that I did here, but everybody can write his own connector as soon as you have the need and the system that you want to integrate here. So some other features that we deliver in winter, I spoke about the smart link and also the fact that we support more type of field. Here I have an example where if I click on this article about how changing the memory on my laptop, so I can see the standard field with image, video, which is features that are here since a long time. But what we can see here is I have a lookup field to a product. So now I can, using the fact that we support more type of field, I can create a lookup field to product. So if I click on it, I will arrive to my product. And also what I can do on my article is to create formula field. So here, the price of the product is not something that I put inside my article, but it's a lookup to the product field information. So if I go to the product, I said, okay, now we have promotions. It's less expensive. Automatically, if I refresh my article, you are going to see that the product is going to be automatically updated because it's a lookup field. So it's really like enabling all the capabilities from the Salesforce platform for the article objects, and after you can build really like nice capabilities. Another feature that we deliver in Winter 13 is what we call the smart link. And when you create articles, sometimes you want to reference another one where you can have other information that can complete what you have here. And it's what we build and want to make it very easy. So here, for example, if I want to add an article about the memory type, I can click on the new button that you create inside the HTML editor. And here I'm going to be able to pick any article using the search engine. So I know that I have an article speaking about the different type of memory. I just search for it, I find it, and I click OK. And as you can see now, I just have created a link directly inside my article to this new object. And the beauty here is the fact that this link is what we call smart link, because it's a link that is going to be automatically based on where you are going to display the article, so maybe on the public knowledge base, or inside the internal applications, or inside your customer portal or partner portal. You can then we are going to adapt automatically based on the channel, the type of link. Also, if you change the article properties like the URL name, usually before the link was broken because you changed the URL name. So here with the smart link, we are going automatically to update all the relationship, and you will never happen to have a broken link. Finally, latest feature that I want to show you, which is also a pilot feature, is the topics. So topics on Chatter, where you can categorize your Chatter post. So here we apply the same technology, but on an article. So inside an article, I can add topics, which is kind of like tagging, and I can also create my new topics. And you can see here in this screen, we are pushing topics based on the content of the article, and also based on what happened in your knowledge base previously. So it's a machine learning system. So for that, there is really two benefits. The first one is now everybody, and not only the person who creates the article, but you can really decide who has the right to do that, can tag, so complement the information of your articles. And you can really provide some tagging at a really granular level. So if you know that we have data category, where you can categorize your information, where it's managed by the admin, you can also drive the security from it. But it's still usually at a very high level to keep it manageable. Here, with the topics, you can really much more granularly attach topics to your articles, and it can provide much more information when you look at it. The other value also to tag topics is to improve the search, where if somebody now is searching like memory or like EGS5 series, is going to be able to find the article, because basically we are indexing topics. And this is what we do with topics today, but we are looking forward in the coming releases where we want to be able to build like expertise, to understand who is creating knowledge about which topics. to be also to have really a very powerful pages where you will see like every article about a specific topic. So it's something that we start in winter in pilot. It's also really a foundation feature for the coming years, and some more features that we want to build around that. So if I go back to my slide, I think I did not forget any features. So knowledge one, which is GA, the external object that is in pilot, the smart links that is GA also, extended support file tip, and topics on article, which is a pilot feature for winter. And the last information that I also want to share with you is, so if you go to success.salesforce.com, there is a group where basically people ask questions about Salesforce knowledge, or share best practice. So if you want more information about the product, or if you have questions, you can go there, and it's a great community where people are usually very responsive. Thank you very much.
This is Sam. I just put the link to that community in the chat widget on the GoToWebinar. So if you want to go bookmark a post in that or go join that group, that's you can just click on the link. And Jennifer, do we have some questions that you want to share? I see lots of them.
So the first couple of questions are about the licensing change. Janelle wants to know, for users that view KB reports, do they also no longer need a KB license?
So for people who want to report, so basically we are going to use a right. So to be able to access online articles, you don't need any more license, so you will be able to report on online article. But if you want to report on draft article, you will need to have a knowledge license.
Okay. And then another question about, is the knowledge license also free for portal and community users? That question's from Carrie.
Sure. So yes. So basically, via the portal, so the previous customer portal, partner portal, and also the new community portal, all the people using this portal have access to knowledge, and it's included in the license. So they can view articles, they can search articles, and they can attach articles to cases.
Okay. And then Carol, I see your note. We're saying KB for knowledge base, just shortening it, just as a quick note about the lingo we're using. Aaron had a question about the ability to change the search engine for the functionality you showed with Bing.
What do you mean by change? Sorry.
Can you do a different search engine or search an internal website, customer website, things like that?
So basically what we provide in the product is an API where anybody can create any connector. So on my spare time, because I have a lot of spare time, I just take this API and create a connector to Bing, because basically Bing was cheaper than Google. So it was just because of that. But now, if they want to do some same thing with Google or with Yahoo or with an internal intranet that they have, they can leverage this API and create their own connector.
Okay, great. Jonathan has two questions. Can topics be limited to be set by publishers, and will data categories be reportable in Winter 14? So that's a two-parter.
So the first question, you can basically at the profile level, you will have the capabilities to decide who has the right to assign a topic or create a new topic or delete a topic. So all this right will be at the profile level. So it's super granular, and you can really decide who has the right to manage these new features. About the data category, so be able to report using data category. It's a story that was initially targeted for winter, but unfortunately it's a very complex feature to build, so we were not able to finish it on time. So we are still working on it, and now we are targeting to be able to deliver it in spring next year. But of course it's safe harbor.
Okay. Trina asks, we would like to control knowledge workflow based on the data categories. Can the formula field look at the data categories?
Unfortunately, the formula field cannot look at data category. that's actually a good improvement that we should look at for the coming releases.
Okay, great. Another question from Trina. We have lots of requests to be able to search published and draft at the same time. This seems to be the only filter that doesn't have the no filter option. Is there a way to search for draft and published articles at the same time?
So usually, I mean, I will speak more about best practice and methodology. So what we recommend to our customers and users, so first, it's really like a draft article. It should be a state that is very temporary, and then your article should be very published. I mean, really like instantly. I mean, sorry, right away. And so what we are usually pushing is a methodology called KCS, Knowledge Center Support, where they are defining these different drafts, work in progress, not validated, but really like what we are pushing as a best practice is publish your document, make them available for everybody internally. But now we understand that some of articles are still in draft, or it's not finished, so still like not validated or work in progress. But for that, what we are usually doing is we are leveraging what we call the validation status. So if I go here to the screen, you have validation status where then you can search articles that, on the different states. So best practice is I'm an agent, I'm working on a case, I'm creating an article that I think is really relevant but I'm not done yet. I'm going to publish it in work in progress. Then other people will be able to search it, to find it, to attach it to their case. They will be able to collaborate on it. And I think that will be where every customer should use the product. And we have actually also some documentation about that. So if you go to the knowledge guide, implementation guide, we have a full chapter more about the methodology and more how we think you should use a product using this methodology.
Okay. Aaron, I see your question about if you're currently paying for knowledge-based licenses. And that would be something definitely to discuss with your account executive, how we're going to transition payment there. But we'll also track down some information and share that out with you. Another question, is there still archiving with the new knowledge base?
Yeah, sure. The same. I mean, we just changed the UI, so the capabilities and the functionality are exactly the same. It's just like it's a new UI. Where you can search and access your knowledge base.
Okay. Those are all of the questions I'm seeing for right now. So Sam, do you want to move on to the next topic and we'll see if some more trickle in?
I will. I do want to answer Janelle's question. So, and Francois, help me understand or say this correctly. In terms of knowledge articles and reporting, if you can see the article, then you can report on it. So if you have the ability as an end user and you see articles because they've been published, then you would be able to report on those. But you would need a license to be able to report on articles that are not in a published status. Francois, did I get that right?
Perfect, yes.
So if you can see it, you can report on it. That's kind of my rule of thumb with most things when we talk about reports. The reporting engine in Salesforce honors your ability to see records. That's the thing that's really the driving factor on most reports. So I am going to take control back and I'm going to share with you some information about an upcoming pilot. So we have a pilot running, and the product manager for this pilot shared this with us, and we wanted to make sure that we shared it with you. So the pilot is called Social Customer Service, and it's for Twitter right now. And what this is it's where the #1 social listening system, Radian 6, is integrated with the #1 service platform, Salesforce. And it's our next generation where they're communicating back and forth. So what we want, it's a native integration. It's all set up on the Salesforce menu. It's a brand new integration. And what it does is once you set it up, it will listen to your corporate Twitter handle, and then it can pull that information in, have it become cases inside of your system. You can respond to those cases. That becomes part of case feeds that responds out and posts back to Twitter. So it's an integration with Twitter. Facebook is coming soon. Again, this is a pilot. It's using our brand new social publisher, and again, Twitter posts viewable in the case feed, and it helps you to connect using Radian 6 to those social media to add even more functionality for your service agents to work with your customer community. So the question will come up, or that you probably have, is, I'm interested in this pilot, what do I do? If you go to my wall, Samantha Acuff, if you go to the group, you'll see that I'm the owner of the groups that are out there for release readiness. Just click on my profile, mention me, let me know that you're interested, and then I'll let your account executive know. Or your other option is simply call your account executive, let him know or her know that you're interested in the social customer service pilot, and let them know to reach out to me so that I can make sure that they're connected to the product manager. So what we want to do is get you, your account executive, and the product manager all connected that you're interested in this pilot. It's very exciting. The biggest reason we wanted to show this to you was we wanted you to see what's coming. There's new stuff that's coming. This is safe harbor. These are pilots. But it is very exciting to see our platform grow and grow. And I want to really do a shout out for understanding what's happened with the new knowledge licensing and with what happened in summer of 13 with Chatter Answers and the fact that that became open without having a feature license. Some really exciting stuff for you guys to think about and to rethink some decisions that you might have made in the past about those platforms. Those platforms might be more affordable and more interesting to you now if you've not rolled them out. If you have rolled them out, new stuff is happening. I would encourage you to take a look at the last couple of releases, make sure you understand what's happening with knowledge and what's happened with Chatter as well, because really exciting stuff has happened over time. Lauren, I think you're still on the line. One of the questions that Jennifer brought up that I wanted you to talk about was an internal use case for Chatter Answers, because we've talked about the external use case for Chatter Answers, but now that it's free as of summer 13, how would a company use it internally?
Yeah, so that's something that we at Salesforce are doing ourselves. So we recently enabled a place using Chatter Answers where our own employees, so you and I and everyone else who works for Salesforce, can go and actually ask questions, those questions answered by other employees. That's something we're calling Dream Job. But it's just a great way for us to interact internally when we're logged in, to be able to ask questions that we might not want to share on the public web, but that we still really need an answer to that could be answered by other employees. Chatter Answers is also available as a tab inside of Salesforce, so you can go ahead and add that tab to any tabs that you want to add it to once you've enabled Chatter Answers, and you can kind of take a look and see what that looks like too. So yeah, there's definitely an internal use case, and that's definitely something we see a big future for.
That's great. I do have a question that I want to answer about the pilot. Janelle is asking if it requires a Radian 6 license. You have to have a Radian 6 license to utilize this this product. However, if you're part of the pilot and you don't have a Radian 6 license, they can grant you a Radian 6 license for the period of time that you're participating in the pilot. So it does require Radian 6, but it's something that we can provide as you're participating in the pilot. So again, you would reach out to me or your account executive and let them know specifically that you're interested in the social customer service pilot. Jennifer, I think we have some questions poured in, and we do have some minutes. We have a couple minutes before we have to close up. So why don't you share some of those questions with us?
Sure. So, Francois, this will be a question for you. Carrie Ann is saying, we are about to roll out Service Cloud, and we're thinking that we had to use solutions. Am I hearing that we can now use knowledge base without it costing us anything extra?
So yes and no. So what we provide now is the fact that everybody can access knowledge, but you need to buy, I mean, at minimum, you need to buy at least one license that somebody can create articles and set up the knowledge base. So the barely minimum is to buy at least one license, but ideally you should provide much more than one because you want to allow more people to be able to contribute to have some kind of up-to-date knowledge base and to be able to really get all the value of allowing your agent to enhance the knowledge base based on their experience solving issues from customers.
So Karen, just to sort of summarize, yeah, you can view knowledge, but to interact with it and manage it, you'll still need the license. So definitely something to consider. Sam, this one will go to you. It's about the pilot. How are we saying the pilot is different than the Salesforce for Twitter and Facebook that are already available and can create cases?
Gosh, that's a really good question, and unfortunately I'm not prepared to answer that. So I'm going to have to take that offline and give you a differentiation between the 6. But I believe that the biggest difference is that this is using the Radian 6 listening as a capability. So Radian 6 is listening and bringing that listening to your corporate handle and bringing those Twitter feeds in. And it can listen to more than one handle at a time. So I sat with the product manager of this and tried to get a good understanding. And I think that the difference here is that Radian 6 is listening and pulling the information in with a Salesforce integration. But I will clarify that, and I will personally answer that question in the collaboration group and mention you. Carrie, I wanted to also take a stab in terms of the knowledge and the licensing issue because I ran a call center at one point in time. With my 30 agents that I had, I probably had 5 key people who were subject matter experts that needed to author knowledge information for the group, but not all 30 had to be authors. So in a scenario like that, I would buy the licenses that I needed for the people that would be authoring and publishing my knowledge articles, but not for the call center staff that's using the knowledge articles to service cases. Francois, did I get that right?
Yep.
Okay. All right, Jennifer, I have time for one more question, and then we'll wrap it up.
Another question I've been getting, Lauren showed that great slide about the sort of avalanche of innovation in winter 14, and I'm getting people asking what about the other half of that slide that we didn't get to cover. There was so much in this release that we had to spread it out across 2 sessions. If you missed yesterday's session where we covered CTI, console, and case management, get into the community. We will be posting the recording of that session so that you can go back and refresh on that content as well. So, Sam, I think we're nearing the top of the hour, so probably time to wrap up.
Yep. First of all, I want to thank our Francois and Lauren for joining us. We're thrilled when our product managers can demo what's coming. I want to thank everybody who's online, who attended the session. It was fabulous that you're interested. We love your questions. Keep them coming in. I'm going to encourage you again to go to the community, make sure that you join the collaboration group that will work for you. I put a post in this webinar of a thread that you can like or bookmark, and that's the thread that I'm using to attach any resources from these webinars. All of the webinars will be attached to that one thread, so it's a great way for you to stay informed. And just be in the community and ask us questions. If you need help, we've got a place for you to ask, and customers are out there too answering. It's very exciting, and so we look forward to hearing from you in the community because the conversation doesn't stop here. It doesn't end. So to that point, I'm going to call it an evening, and again, thank you for attending.